things here visible. I think just this and that. The unselected. Okay, I think just this. And then to begin with, we'll need some locators. Oh, wait. I need turn on the rotate pivot for this. Let me make sure I have the right. Okay, that looks right. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to need to do is create some frame up on that. Create locator. And then put that here. And then I'm going to need to orient that to the engine, which is just this one setting there. And then I want to duplicate that and move it up, and I want it to be it could be anywhere along this axis, but I want it to be along the top of that, so I'll snap it up to that, and that's on Y. And then I want this again. I want to duplicate one of these and move it out along -Z, I guess, and I'm going to put it to this curve, put it to there. And the reason I'm laying out placing these locators is I want to have a place to snap my joints to. So I'll do one more here, and this could be anywhere. I'm just doing that to have an end, to locate the end. Okay, so now what I want to do is go into my joint tool and make sure everything's right. Now I could do the degrees of freedom here, but I find it's easier just to adjust this later. I could do X and then lay a joint, and then do Y and then lay a joint, etc. But for now I'll just do this. So I want one here, and I want one here, and here, and here. Alright, so now I have a joint chain, and let's look at what I have here. I want to turn on these rotation axis, and we'll see I'm going XYZ here, and I need to align these rotation axes here, and the way this needs to work is that's on top. Oops. I want, what do I want here? I want Y off to the side. So I've selected these, and now I want to rotate them either what this is. Notice over here that this is -33.068. I'll copy that. And I either want to rotate these joints that much, or that much minus 90 minus that much. So let me go back to here. Select these. Looks like I can only do one at a time of those. And then I want to do rotate. Notice down at the bottom I'm typing in dash object space dash control V. We'll try this first, and then that's on X. 0, 0. That didn't do anything, did it? Yeah, it did. Okay. Alright, now why did it just do, oh, I didn't have it selected. Okay. Let's do this again and see if that worked. And this display doesn't update exactly right each time. I don't know why that is. It worked there and there. No, I want Y off to the side. So I think what I want to do then is find out what... Okay, this is it, because I had to do it on the other copy. I had to do this on the other side. So back to here. One here, here. I don't know what's going on with that end, but it doesn't matter. In fact, I'll just undo that. Get back to where I was. And then I want to rotate copy, paste that in. There. That's good, because I'm just looking here at this one and this one. This joint, the intention all along was just to delete that. I don't like the way the Maya 2012's handles. It used to let me align those by saying none, and then it would inherit its alignment from the previous joint up, but apparently that doesn't work anymore. So now, whoops, go back to object mode. I don't need that. I'll just leave that. So now then what I have is a joint chain which has Y over here. It's going to rotate along Y. Joints are aligned. So now what I need is an IK handle. So I will go into Skeleton IK handle tool. There are options here that I could choose, but right now I'm just going to ignore all of those. And I'm going to go here and here. It gives me an IK handle. And then I'm going to go into, I want to create a node called an IK multi-chain. Now let's see. I'm going to undo that and then redo it with this node editor open, so you can see what's going on here. Alright, so now I have this ikMCsolver created in the scene, not in the viewport. Now what I want to do is convert this IK handle to solve with that. So here's the reason I copied that tab is I don't want to mess up how I'm doing this over on the other monitor. IK handle solver attributes, and now I want to select that solver I just created. Now this is 2 because this is the second one I've done, so I want to select ikMCsolver 2. And then what I want to do on these joints is if I turn on E local, you'll notice that I can see that I want this to rotate along X. So if I go back into my attribute editor, let me just drag this thing over. I can just put it back. It's no big deal. Then I want to limit the degrees of freedom to X. And then on this joint, I want to limit the degrees of freedom, notice here, to Y. And then I don't need any degrees of freedom on this. And that lined back. If I move this handle, you'll see that this follows along perfectly. Okay, now then I need to create a controller for that. And in order to do that, I don't want this just to go anywhere. And the controller, it needs to not get lost in the scene. I noticed when I was editing, when I was trying to animate this before, first of all I tried it with FK, and like I said, that was unwieldy. But then when I tried it with IK, I realized that I was losing the controller, because when I tried to manipulate it in the 3D view, it would tend to go far away. And so what I want to do now is to constrain the range of motion of the controller. So in order to do that, I need I'm going to use a cube. Snap this into the middle here, and then I want to orient that to this engine, which is just 0. Okay, so now I have this cube here, and I want to move it out. I'm going to use a radius of 12 because I've already worked this out on the other side. I know what I want to use here. So I need a NURBS circle. Create NURBS circle. And I want to snap this over to here. That's where I want it. And now I'm going to this is kind of getting in the way here. So I will go to render stats and let me just try this. See if it makes it any better. And then I'm going to reference that and get it out of the way. Okay. Now I want to, first of all, I want this controller to be 0. So I'm going to group it. I'm going to parent that group to the controller and 0 it out like that. And I'm going to put the controller in that group so it's 0. And now what I want to do is parent the IK handle to this controller. So now when I select this, it's going to move. But then what I want to do is constrain the handle. I want to do a geometry constraint. Constrain geometry. This handle. So now then when I move this, handle, I'll put my reference back on here, and you'll see that the joint chain moves with it. Now what doesn't happen is that the handle doesn't stay, or the curve doesn't stay oriented to the sphere. So what I want to do now is select the sphere and the NURB circle, and then I want to do a constrain, normal constraint to that. And then what's happened is that let's see, I've got object mode on and I have the NURBs selected. That my normal is wrong. I could either change that in the history node of the circle, or I can just bring this over and select the normal constraint and then change it to normal constraint. I want to change its vector to -c. Okay, and now then it's now then when I select this control curve, oops, see this joint follows, this joint chain follows along, and then anywhere in the scene it doesn't get lost. So another thing I want to do is on this sphere is I want to increase the resolution up so it's got twice as many spans up here in this direction, and then I want to get rid of some of these. This will work as a constraint on the range of motion. So I want to edit NURBs, detach that surface there, and then I don't need that. And that's kind of bugging me there. I don't need those edit points on. So now, in fact, I can just hide that, and I can turn these LRAs off on here. So now if I select this, notice it can't go any more than it needs to along the top. And so now what I need to do is bind. I could do this with grouping, or I could do it with bind. I'm just going to use a rigid bind for binding this mount to this joint. And I want to do skin, rigid bind, and I want to do selected joints and closest point, apply, and then I want to do the same to this geometry here, and that joint, and joint number 5, apply. And now then when I select this, you'll see that I get this controller. Might be better if I show the rest of the ship. And so I can delete this. In fact, a lot of things I can delete here, but you can see that I get the range of motion, and it's limited along the top. I could have done that with limiting the range of motions of the joints, but this is that's just the way I decided to do it. I think I